This is Weekly Woman by Jubilance for PMS. Ashley Logan is a wellness entrepreneur opening her own coaching practice, Ashley Logan Wellness, after working 10 plus years in corporate advertising and marketing, earning her MBA in international business, and raising her 3 kids. She had to sort through her own stress-related health issues. It was only when she took a holistic approach that she started to experience a shift. This led her on a journey to turn her lifelong passion of health and wellness into her profession. She became a certified health coach through the Institute for Integrative Nutrition and registered 200 hours as a yoga instructor. We're so excited to talk to her today about her business, her life, and bringing the mind, body, and soul in balance for better health and optimal wellness. Welcome!
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much for being here. Yeah. And so we just start the podcast off with some kind of like random fun questions. What is your favorite word in the dictionary?
Well, I have a lot, so it's hard just to pick one. But given the current times, I would say tenacious. Like I feel like we all have to channel a lot of tenacity right now.
Yeah, that's a word I don't ever use, but I should. Tenacious. Yeah, that's great. Okay, what's your favorite TV show you've binged during quarantine?
I've already watched the whole thing, The Morning Show with Jennifer Aniston.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was
and
so
Reese
good.
Witherspoon. Did you watch that too?
I did, yeah.
I thought it was so powerful.
Yeah, and
And
every episode.
the acting was phenomenal in it. And I think just the characters were so well developed, and the story was relevant to past events. I won't give anything away, but I highly recommend it. It's riveting.
Oh, that's awesome. And what's your favorite wellness tip that you've ever received?
I have to say, putting your own oxygen mask on first, and then putting it on the people you care about, whether it's children, a parent. I think it's so important. And I have 3 kids, so I kind of relate it to my children, but it's really taking care of yourself first, because you're not able to fully take care of other people until you take care of yourself first. And I spent years putting other people ahead of me, and my health suffered for it. And once I started to prioritize my own health, I realized I was stronger to be able to serve those around me.
And Ashley, that kind of brings us to like your professional life. You've gone through so many different avenues, from an MBA to through marketing and now into your wellness journey. Can you talk a little bit more about that journey and how it all developed?
Sure. So, I had 10 plus year career in corporate advertising and marketing. And when I was pregnant with my first son, I have 3 boys. I had a choice to make. Am I going to continue the corporate route or stay home with my kids? Because I knew we were going to have a couple more kids at least. And I decided to stay home. And I just realized for me, it would have been hard to juggle both. So I made that choice to stay home with my kids. And during that time, after, I subsequently had 2 more children. And after about 10 years as a stay-at-home mom, I started to kind of get the itch to get back to work as they grew older and became more independent. And I really considered going back into corporate marketing, because I had a great job. It was very comfortable, but I wasn't really fulfilled. And I had a choice to make then as well. Like, do I want to go back to what's comfortable, or do I want to take a risk and do something different, even though it's pushing out of my comfort zone? And it was really scary to think of not just reverting back to what I knew. But I chose to go into become an integrative health coach kind of by accident almost. I was kind of trying to think of different things, you know, what I'm passionate about, where I really feel fulfilled and on purpose. And that the theme for me was health and wellness. And then on Instagram, I saw Gabby Bernstein, who I love her work. She's written a bunch of books about spirituality and finding your purpose and manifestation. Like, she's a great author. But anyway, she posted something about IIN, which is in New York City. And I researched it and I was so blown away by the program and ended up just taking the leap.
Amazing.
And so, yeah. And so I did the year-long program. And while I was doing that, I was also getting my yoga certification, which I've also been like a lifelong yogi. So I was just sort of formalizing that. But yeah, and I just kind of started my own business, incorporated, and it's just been a really exciting journey for me.
That's amazing. So when did you start your business officially?
It's been about a year and a half.
Amazing. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you do with your coaching? Do you integrate like the yoga practice into your business as well?
Yeah, a lot of the principles in yoga are very aligned with the integrative health coaching model, because a lot of yoga is breath work, it's body awareness, it's mindfulness. It's almost a moving meditation in a sense. And a lot of what I work with clients on in the integrative health coaching piece is just developing that awareness. A lot of the principles in yoga transfer to the health coaching, because I work with women not just on diet or fitness. Those are certainly components, but we also look at mindset. We look at relationships, career fulfillment, every aspect that might affect how a person looks and feels and shows up each day. In yoga, a lot of those principles can be applied, if suitable, you know, to a health coaching program that I develop for a client.
Oh, wow. Are they specific for each client then?
Yes. So I can work with clients. I have coaching calls. If someone just wants to set up a coaching call with me just to get a feel for it, I offer that. It's a la carte coaching. And then I also have 2 programs. One is a 4-week program and one is a 6-month program. And in those programs, I create a program customized to the client and what they're hoping to achieve. So for the 4-week program, it's about 1 to 3 goals, depending on what they are. If it's one big goal, we'll just do one, you know, goal. But if it's 3 smaller ones, I'll make a program for the 3 smaller ones. And then the 6-month program is much more intensive, and that's 6 goals.
Wow.
So I try to really meet women where they are, because we're all different. And I don't believe in a one-size-fits-all approach, because we're all at different points in our health journey. We all have different needs. We all have different, you know, scheduling issues. And it's just, I'd really try to be flexible to help women, as many women as I can.
That's amazing, Ashley. Can you talk a little bit about like a client's experience and how you knew you made a difference?
Yeah, so a lot of the women I work with are working moms, whether they have their own business or they're in corporate America. And it's hard to balance both. It's hard to be a mom, work in corporate, you know, be a daughter, a sister, whatever other hats we wear. So I had an attorney who came to work with me, and she had 2 small kids, and she had a pretty demanding career. And she was having trouble prioritizing her health goals. Like, she wanted to have more energy. She wanted to lose those last 5 pounds. And she was having trouble finding time in her day to exercise, which is something she really enjoyed exercising, but she just could not find the time, right? And I hear that a lot. Like, I don't have time to do all this stuff, you know, go to the store and cook healthy meals, exercise, you know, meditate. When am I going to meditate? You know, a lot of it is the mindset around our time and how much time we have in a day to do the things that we want to do. So in her particular situation, we really got to the root cause of where she was spending her time. And a lot of it is time management and our mindset around time. And
Huh.
once we were able to really develop a schedule, and I worked with her in her schedule to really show her where she could carve out time to accomplish those goals on a daily basis. Because a lot of it is most change, most effective long-term change occurs in the small daily actions we take. So
Hmm.
it's small steps each day get us to where we want to go.
Huh.
And it requires a lot of patience, and you have to really play the long game when you're trying to create a lot of change in your life. But as she took small daily steps towards goals, bite-sized goals each day, she began to notice a difference.
Wow.
And once she carved out, say, 15 minutes in the morning to go for a walk, then she realized, well, I actually can bump that up to 20 minutes. And then it became 30 minutes. And that didn't happen in a week. That happened over several weeks. But once we began getting positive feedback from our change behavior, it incentivizes us to prioritize that healthy behavior. And so we begin to see tangible changes in our life.
Wow. That's
And it's
amazing.
really, yeah, and it's really about taking those small deliberate steps each day. And when we're in a state of overwhelm, and when we feel like we have no time, we're stretched so thin, it's really, really hard to find, to believe that we can create the time for ourselves, but it is possible.
Yeah. I think that's
So,
amazing. Just like taking that 15 minutes, like where can you carve that out? Because everyone can have 15 minutes or
mm-hmm.
10 minutes. But it is hard to say like, oh, like I do so much and like to try and be healthy. But I love your idea of like the 15 minutes or wherever you can find that, which is
Yeah, it's
incredible.
very effective.
Yeah. Can you talk about being a female business owner? What's been the most difficult as you've opened your business in this year and a half? What's been difficult or most challenging? Like,
I think the one thing I miss about kind of the corporate environment is the camaraderie with coworkers, kind of those water cooler conversations, being a part of a team, having that um, just sort of built-in network. I miss that because entrepreneurship can be isolating, and a lot, especially with COVID. So I've really made an effort to reach out and become more involved in virtual events.
hmm,
And but I think that is probably the hardest part of entrepreneurship, is just the isolating factor of it.
yeah,
You really have to make um, a bigger effort to get connected and to meet new people. And I don't just mean clients or prospecting, I just mean peers,
mhm,
women, other female entrepreneurs, just to connect with, to get to share ideas, to support one another. I think that's so important as a business owner, to find and continually to look for new people that you can meet and support and bounce ideas off of.
mhm. Yeah, I think that's so awesome. And something that we talk about on the podcast every time is what does womanhood mean to you? And like it's interesting that you're already talking about just this idea of finding other women to like always connect with as an entrepreneur. What is womanhood for you?
Gosh, that's a big question. I think
Yeah.
it means a lot of different things to me. But I believe women have a gift of empathy naturally. And I think to lead as a woman with empathy is a very powerful thing. And I think if we can really stand in our empathy and our ambition simultaneously, we can move mountains. So
Hmm.
that's what it means to me today.
Yeah, I think that's great. And that's really what you're trying to do is move mountains just like little by little with each of your clients. So
Mm-hmm.
that's amazing. What advice would you give to a woman who's just starting on their wellness journey?
well, it's similar to what I said earlier. I would just encourage them to pick one thing that they want, or one small goal that they want to, achieve for themselves in their health and wellness, and start with one goal and break that goal into little steps each day that they can take. Because I find when women are like, well, I want to do, we're list makers, and there a lot of times clients will come to me and they'll have a really long list of all the things that, how they want to change or do differently. And what I help them do is to prioritize that list and say, well, what are really the key things that you want to change? And a lot of times there's a similar theme. And I find a lot of it has to do with our sense of worth and what we feel we're worthy of. Because if we put other people's needs ahead of ours, we're sort of subconsciously telling ourselves that we're not worth putting ourselves first. So a lot of what I do is help women realize like they're worth the goal that they want for themselves. Because if you believe you're worth it, then you're going to prioritize it. And if you prioritize it, you're going to take those small steps each day to achieve it.
Wow. That's such a great sense of shifting of a mindset of like, you are worth it. So how do you get to that goal, and how do you like try to build to accomplish it, moving that little mountain or big mountain, but little, like climbing it a little bit each day.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's amazing, Ashley. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Like how do our listeners get in contact with you?
Well, my website is fairly comprehensive about my programs and offerings, and I have loads of resources on there, free resources, and my blog, and it's ashleyloganwellness.com. And I have a new guide, the ultimate guide to achieve your big audacious goals, which is intended to help people set goals for 2021, but to also finish 2020 strong, because we still have time to finish off those goals for 2020. I think so many of us are just ready for this year to be over, but yeah. So, but yeah, that's where people can find me.
Amazing. Is there anything else you'd like to add to our listeners today?
No, I just thank you for the opportunity to talk about these important issues and topics.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being on, Ashley. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, Alice.